I don't think the MCU is ever gonna do the phase 1 through 3 10-year plan, because there's really no need to, in my opinion. The MCU has brought so much attention to itself and Marvel, which was why that plan was so great. They also didn't start off with its most popular characters. It started off with Iron Man, and they also didn't start off with their most popular team either. They did the Avengers. How the mutant saga is gonna go, because it's gonna be from 2028 to 2032. That's 4 years. That's even shorter than the multiverse sagas. What are they gonna do after the mutant saga? Are they still gonna continue doing Avengers movies even after the mutant saga? I'm just glad that Secret Wars is gonna put everybody in one timeline. After Secret Wars and the mutant saga, they should redo Secret Invasion and redo the King Dynasty. And make Secret Invasion an Avengers movie at least. Because how it is in the comics is crazy. The Skrull and the Kree, the Super Skrulls, the Queen Skrull, I want to see all of that. Super Skrulls can copy and mimic abilities. They really remind me of the Sentinels in the Days of Future Past X-Men story. And there should have been a time where the Skrulls invaded Earth while the Sentinels were going around. Because it would have been nice to see the Super Skrulls fight the Sentinels. I want to know who would take that home. When I watch the Avengers movies like Age of Ultron and Infinity War versus their versions of the comics, what happened in the comics is way bigger. I don't really think it's possible to fit what happened in the comics into the movies, even if the movies are like 3 hours long, because there's so many characters missing in the Age of Ultron and Infinity War story. Kang did worse than Ultron did. At least Ultron got an Avengers movie. Kang got no death by ants in Quantumania, bro. When we saw Kang in an Ant-Man movie, we should have known what time it was. Kang in the comics, he's an Avengers multiversal level threat. He's a master of time. He's not just something you beat him once. No, you gotta deal with all his variants. But they did do Thanos right, because he was spitting the coldest one-liners. That still held weight to this day. Avengers Doomsday, I better see Liberia. I better see Doom's Castle. I better see his Doombots. I better see the citizens of Liberia having free healthcare. I need every little detail. Every detail matters. This is Victor Von Doom we're talking about. They gonna get Victor Von Doom right, that means he's gonna kill a lot of people, bro. He's gonna kill a lot of heroes, whether that's the Avengers or the X-Men, and I don't even want to try to predict which ones are going to go. But the number one person I know for a fact is on Doom's hit list, it's gotta be Loki. That's too obvious. What if Doom wants to use Franklin Richards to revive his dead mom? I'm going to assume they're going off the comics. Mephisto has his mother's soul. And if Wanda is dead, what if Doom might use Franklin Richards to revive Wanda? Next year, we're getting Spider-Man Brand New Day and Avengers Doomsday with Supergirl. Why does it feel like I'm the only one excited about this? It feels like I'm living in an echo chamber. For the first time in MCU history, we're about to have the X-Men, Fantastic Four, the Avengers, and New Avengers all on one screen. And we're getting Doctor Doom. And after Secret Wars, we're getting the Mutant Saga. We're getting the Mutants. And the person who's directing it, Drake Schreier, he directed Thunderbolts. I cannot wait to see Professor X. Professor X is the Greg Popovich of the mutants. You cannot tell me a better coach. Scott Summers, you might as well consider him LeBron James, because he can just do it all. He's the leader. He didn't help with the talent of Storm, Jean, Emma Frost, Beast, Magneto, Alex Summers, Angel, Nightcrawler, Rogue, Mystique. It was Charles in the Fox X-Men universe, and he was the one who put together that first class team. And guess who else was on that team? Magneto. You know Professor X, when these movies come out, he about to be licking his fingers. He's about to be smirking and salivating at looking at the roster he got at his school. He got so many Omega level mutants in his back pocket. Nobody's finna touch Charles. He knows he can go to sleep at night. And if he really want to find more, he just gonna go into the room and put on Cerebro. I don't know which big bad the Mutant Saga is about to have, because I just don't know who's about to get through all of that. And don't let this man have his son Legion in there too, with Scott Summers as the leader. He needs to be the leader like Captain America was for the Avengers. He's not just a mutant with energy beams from his eyes. This man is the burden commander. He is the strategic idealist of the mutants. He needs to be on the front line leading the charge. I want comic accurate suits. I want that blue and yellow on God's green earth. They better have a line in one of those movies where he says, "To me, my X-Men." They did it in the X-Men 97 show. Have to have that in there, bro. I wish I got to watch Black Panther, Civil War, The Winter Soldier, and Endgame in theaters. I know those atmospheres were crazy. I know those lines to get the popcorn and snacks were very long. I watched Endgame like 2-3 years later when it came to Disney Plus. By that time, parts of the movie were already spoiled for me, like Thanos grabbing Stormbreaker trying to kill Thor. That was the first thing that was spoiled for me, but everything else was pretty much a blur. I had to gaslight myself that it wasn't spoiled for me, so when I actually watched it on Disney Plus, I was shocked. But the movies that I did get to watch in theaters was Avengers 1, Avengers Infinity War, Spider-Man Far From Home, Wakanda Forever, Guardians of the Galaxy 3, Brave New World, Thunderbolts, Fantastic Four, Thor Ragnarok. That Infinity War theaters experience is something else, man. I remember it like it was yesterday. I'm never gonna stop talking about that because it really felt like I lost. It felt like the whole entire world lost. The Avengers, that is super team. They can't lose. So seeing them lose, I need Doom to be on that exact same timing. If not, he needs to be moving more cold. I cannot wait for Avengers Doomsday. I cannot wait for that first teaser to drop. I'm about to be watching it and pausing it every second just to find every little clue, every little detail I can to add to my theories. Then I get the 1984 Secret Wars comic, and then I'm gonna get the 2015 Secret Wars comic as well in my collection. And then I'm gonna get some all new, all different Avengers stuff by Jonathan Hickman. Bro, Jonathan Hickman, Rick Remender, and Nick Spencer, oh my gosh, they are nice. What if every major event in the Marvel Universe happened at once? I'm talking about Infinity War, Secret Wars, Civil War, House of M. Multiple characters would have to be in multiple spots at once. What if every villain did everything at once? And also, I can't forget about Secret Invasion and Secret Empire as well. So while Thanos is going around collecting the stones, the Skrulls are invading Earth, Ultron's taking over the Earth, while Secret Wars is secretly unveiling Doctor Doom. He's cooking up in his lab. I don't think that planet would be a planet anymore, bro. I don't even think that multiverse would be a multiverse. What would happen if Age of Ultron took place at the same time as Days of Future Past? Would Ultron fight the Sentinels? I'm currently watching Netflix's Daredevil series for the first time, and on the 4th episode, it can already say hand-to-hand fighting combat is solid, but the story is also starting off kind of dark, which is what I expected. And it makes me hesitant to watch Punisher. I just seen someone unalive themselves, all because he was scared of Kingpin, of what Kingpin would do to him. This man would rather take his own life than live to see what Kingpin would do to him just for exposing his name, Wilson Fisk. One of the things I love about Matt Murdock the most, he has that knowledge of law being in the courtroom aspect to him. I think that's what sets him apart from a lot of other characters in Marvel, especially at the street level. After I finish this Daredevil series, I'm gonna start the Punisher. The one thing I know about Frank Castle is that he's an anti-hero, that his family was gunned down in front of him. That's already enough fuel for it to make somebody go mad. And I know he's going to be really traumatized. And I also can't wait to see him in Spider-Man Brand New Day. I want to know what Frank Castle would do with an Iron Man suit. I think he'd be moving worse than Injustice Superman. I love that a part of Matt Murdock's story is that when he became blind, his senses became heightened. He uses him being blind as a superpower. And you would think him being blind, he would be losing a lot of these hand-to-hand fight scenarios. No, this man barely gets touched. He's fighting 10 different dudes. He can't even see. He wears the do-rag over his face in the first couple of episodes in the show. Spectacular Spider-Man, Justice League Unlimited, Teen Titans, Young Justice, and Earth's Mightiest Heroes are the best Marvel and DC superhero shows ever. I don't think any show will top those. Justice League Unlimited, I could not escape that show. Not that I wanted to, but that's such a good show. Young Justice and Justice League Unlimited, those are the ones I watched the most when I was a kid. I really love how in Spectacular Spider-Man we get like the inner monologue of Peter. And in the episodes when he gets the symbiote, he just does a full personality 180. Suddenly he don't care about his friends, all he cares about is money. Don't even get me started on Earth's Mightiest Heroes. I've talked about this show like 2-3 times already on this page. Hank and Janet are supposed to be core members of the Avengers. Imagine if Hank and Janet were in Hawkeye's and Black Widow's spot in the MCU. It would be so different. And then we would have actually got Hank Pym's Ultron instead of Tony's Ultron. The cold-blooded killing machine that we know in the comics. The Avengers would not have been ready. They wouldn't be able to handle Hank Pym's Ultron. Not knowing the movie, the shows are very entertaining. There's never a dull or boring moment in the show. There's not one bad episode. Bro, Aqualad, that man was clean. I forgot which Robin it was. I don't think the Young Justice Robin is the same one from Teen Titans. I think those Robins are Tim Drake. There's so many other stories and comics that I have yet to get into. After I finish the Sam Wilson volumes, I want to get into Jonathan Hickman's Fantastic Four run. I want to read about his Secret War story. I also want to read about the 1984 Secret War story. Something about just having the physical copies at your disposal just gets me hooked in. I also want to get his Powers of X story on the X-Men, the Age of Krakoa. There's so many different stories. I don't even know where to start for the X-Men. The one I do want to start with is, I want to start with the Uncanny X-Men. Don't even get me started on DC. I didn't even know Marvel had an Ultimate Universe. They have Ultimate Spider-Man. I've heard that the Ultimate Universe is just full of psycho heroes. Ultimate Reed Richards is the maker I just know he's crazy. He's got that long banana head. It looks like that one Frieza form. There's no way you look at that and you think this guy's gonna be a good cut. There's this one Hulk story, Mortal Hulk. I gotta get that one. I think the best ways you can tell Hulk stories is just make it horror for Bruce Banner.